Regeneration.
Regeneration was the theme of tonight. 5 DJs, legendary artists coming together to collaborate and create what they hope would be new music. This is the Regeneration premiere. When you found out you were going to be paired with him, what went through your mind? Because like you said, you weren't really doing classical music, so did you come in with an idea of what you were going to do?
Not at all. At first I was like, classical, really? I thought we could pick the genre. When they said, no, this is what you're doing, it's almost like being told what to do, which I don't like. But I said, let's give it a try, and I'm glad I did it. It's one of the most eye-opening experiences ever in my career. We had a conference meeting with all the producers, the director. Funny thing was the director knew that I was in it, was being asked to be in it. As soon as he got off the plane to come to New York to meet up with us, and they said, you're going on in 5 minutes with DJ Premier, and he's like, are you serious? And I was like, same thing, we're going to talk about this right now. I said, yeah, right now. And we ended up having to talk about it. And we just started figuring out how it was going to be approached. And then I took it from there and did the basics from a music library that they gave us that was public domain that we wouldn't have to clear it so they could move faster. Once we got to that stage, I picked things that sounded dope, put it in a folder, put it into my Serato so that I could actually fly them in. Everything was flown in straight from my turntable. I didn't program anything from the drum machine except for the Nas segment because that was something that somebody had to rhyme to, had 1, 2, boom, bap it. But prior to that, everything was just flown in from the turntable, space. Once I gave it to Steven Weber, the orchestra jumped in and filled in all the blanks and played over it and added more bottom with their percussion, their lower brass, and their lower strings. And then from there, they sent it back to me. I now leveled all of that out, got Nas on it, put some scratches, turned that back in. And yeah, I'm glad he wanted to do it. And again, it was just a fun thing and a learning experience for all of us.
I bet the energy was crazy.
It was fun. It was definitely fun.
Thank you so much. So you're from New Orleans, and you kind of have that New Orleans flavor to your music, correct?
That is absolutely correct.
Okay, so were you able to bring that to the table when you were asked to do this project?
Well, that's, I think, basically why Mark hired me, because he wanted to get someone who had a feeling for the music and someone who's a native of that environment. So I think when you're putting projects like this together, it doesn't hurt to have somebody to at least collaborate with that has some of the ideas that you want to embrace.
Well, some people they didn't collaborate with people who had their ideas or anything. The collaborations were so mismatched. How important do you feel like it is to mix the music up and bring a different perspective to the music?
Well, it seems like people want new things all the time. What's popular today, tomorrow is old news. So right now, in the moment, we're enjoying this because it was like a collage of different people coloring at the same time, and we came up with this portrait this musical portrait where everybody could embrace and enjoy.
The society being so oversaturated and us having access to everything and kind of hearing everything, how hard is it for you to kind of create something you feel like people haven't heard, like the shock value?
It's not crazy hard because I got these ideas up in my head, and it's like it's taking a little piece of all the different things that you enjoy and putting it together. And I mean, that's what the evolution of music is. It's combining and taking little pieces of everything and creating something new. Hence the name Regeneration. I mean, like that's putting a name on exactly what the evolution of music has been for not only now but for the last 100 years, and before that. So, yeah.
Take us through a day of what you guys went through in the studio, the trials, the tribulations. Tell us about a day.
I just stepped in the studio, met up with my musicians, tried to tell them exactly what I wanted, pointed them in the direction, said, you there, you there, you there. Yeah, some of them did it. Some of them were like, I ain't doing that, and I had to adapt and work with them, but we got through it, and we captured something fresh and made something new, and Yeah.
Overall, what should we take from this film?
That music is timeless, and musicians throughout the ages have all been trying to do the same thing, you know, which is create something new and beautiful. And whether, you know, it's 2012 or 1912, it's like we're like having the same thoughts, you know. We're just trying to push it and create something with longevity, you know what I mean?
Collaborations were so different. I mean, is there a point where you work on something and you may not like it, but someone else is crazy over it? How do you feel about that?
I think you have things sometimes some things that you like that nobody else really likes, and you have certain things that, you know, you thought was kind of average and everyone else goes crazy over it. So it's hard to tell what people are going to like. As long as you make things that you can stand behind and you believe in, then everything else you just have to see how it turns out.
Do you feel like everything's been done in the music industry, or do you feel like there's still room to create new things or just reinvent?
I still think that there's definitely room to create new things. I think, you know, for example, what Skrillex is doing, I don't think anyone's ever heard a sound like that. It didn't exist, couldn't have existed 10 or 15 years ago. And I think that that's part of what this is about, I guess, regeneration. It's like, I came up in the hip-hop world where we used to sample old soul records and jazz records, and that's how we reinvented. And now you've got Skrillex collaborating with the Doors and these different kind of things. So, you know, it's not just to steal, it's just to, I guess, yeah.
For this film, I didn't think of DJs as, you know, creators of music. I thought maybe they just mixed music for the clubs. I mean, what's your perspective on
that? No, just
Well, the DJs that put out records under their own name, you know, those are the artists and the producers, but some DJs, yes, just been records, you know, but the DJs in this film all produce music.
Any DJ that is able to take a selection of music and create something special in a room of 200 people or 2,000 people, that guy's definitely got skills in different levels, because it takes an ear, an understanding of the room, of your environment and the music that you have to sort of craft together a set that's engaging and brings people. So even if a DJ's never written a note, there's still something very powerful about what a DJ does and is able to do in a, you know, for the energy in a room. Same record, same music, two different people. One's, you know, being bombarded with, like, you know, glow sticks and panties. The other one can't find his way out the door because it's so lonely it doesn't know where he is. It's pathetic. The guy's pathetic.
There are 5 DJs that worked on different genres that normally haven't been associated with hip hop, and they've reworked them, remixed them, reprocessed them, maybe deconstructed and reconstructed them. And I'm very excited about not only how it turns out, but the process that they go through to make the kind of decisions that they have made.
Now, in your own career, have you actually gone through that process? Have you worked with hip-hop artists?
Oh, well, just the process. I'm not limited to hip-hop artists.
Right.
I mean, I do that with every record. I try to do something that I've never done before. On that, no.
How influential do you feel like music is to our society?
Music is hugely influential to society. You know, music has been used to bring people together that have been at odds with each other. You know, I've had experience with that myself. I've watched audiences that, in the beginning, audiences that have had groups that were at odds, were separated.
Or segregated.
Yeah, or segregated, or ambivalent about each other, and watch how the music has broken down the barriers, and kind of, you can see it in their faces, that it gets removed, and there's a sense of togetherness in the audience, and it's very exciting to watch that. You know, watch that happen and be a part of that process.
And I hope this movie continues to do that.
I absolutely hope it does. I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, thank you.
I overheard that you are a professor. Can you elaborate on that?
Yeah, I profess. That's true. Yes, I'm professor at Berklee College of Music in Boston. We're actually also about to open a campus in Valencia, Spain, which we're really excited about. We're in town this week too for the Grammys. Our alums, after this awards, as long as just a couple of them win, we'll have won over 200 Grammy Awards for our alumni, which is really exciting. Esperanza Spalding last year, one of our alums, and she's doing very well for herself.
Very cool. I'm a fan of hers. Now, I wanted to know, after this film, have you incorporated hip-hop into your curriculum?
Absolutely. Actually, it was way before this film. I started getting into turntablism really seriously in the late 90s. So, and I know it's really strange because here I am, you know, a professor at Berklee College of Music, not exactly the profile of somebody who's getting into turntablism. But my students got me into it. I teach a remixing class, and the word remixing kind of changed in the 90s from, you know, let's recut the vocal and do something, let's add a beat and make it into a dance track. And one of my students brought in a DMC video, and it was instant. I just said, man, I want to do that. So I bought some decks, took them to the basement, wound up writing a book called Turntable Technique, The Art of the DJ. And yeah, so, you know, I actually met DJ Premier first when we brought him to Berklee a few years ago. I've written a symphony called the Stylus Symphony, which incorporates scratching and turntablism with a full 90-piece symphony orchestra. And that's actually where they heard about me. That's where the producers of the film kind of said, you know, this would probably be the guy to actually, you know, get Premier together with to kind of bridge the gap between classical music and hip-hop.
Right, so this was right up your alley. You weren't surprised at all. If anything, you were like, my chance, I'm back, I get to spin it.
It was like, yeah, about time. I was been waiting for you guys to call. Come on, let's get busy.